Right. Ladies and gentlemen, WallTech presents the Ibex Green Exterior Biowall, your all-in-one solution to localized pollution. There's a problem in our country today, that is pollution from freeways and roadways. According to the EPA, air pollution primarily consists of differently sized particulate matter. Large particulate matter from 10 microns to 100 microns can actually get caught in your lungs, causing coughing and wheezing. Whereas smaller particulate matter, 10 microns and below, can actually pass through your lungs and be absorbed into your bloodstream, causing long-term health problems. These particulate matters consist of ammonium, xylene, formaldehyde, and other toxic gases. Fortunately, Ibex Green has you covered. Using highly advanced phytoremediation near the source of the pollution, we can help to scrub these particulate matters from the air, using plants such as the spider plant, Florus chrysanthemum, and lay shrub to get rid of formaldehyde, xylene, benzene, ammonium, and other harmful particulate matter.
So, how will these plants be incorporated into our product? Well, first of all, the plants will be sustained hydroponically by drip irrigation. This means using fertilizer water, no soil will be involved. Next step is the stainless steel wire mesh. Stainless steel is rust resistant, and the idea here is that the higher up the plants are, the more likely they'll encounter the particulate matter, which is being carried by the hotter exhaust fumes. Next step is the gutter to catch and recycle water, which should help lower water cost. Next is the filter to help remove debris particles from the water we're trying to recycle. And then we have the tank to store the fertilizer water, pump powered, connected to a water main. So the idea here is that as the water gets lower in the tank, the pressure valve will open, letting in water from the main, refilling the tank. And then finally, probably the most novel part about our structure is that it incorporates existing sound barriers which are already located in high population centers. So considering how the structure reduces costs, you might be wondering what are the costs. So if I could direct your attention to the pie graph on the right, that represents, thank you, that represents a percent-wise cost for a 1 by 1 square foot installation of our biowall. And you'll see that about half the cost is for plants, about a quarter is for labor. These two components combined represent the most variable aspect of our installation, but altogether it's only about $1.15 for installation. So the average sound barrier is about 15 feet high, so that should give you an idea of how much a potential customer would be spending. The table on the right shows the cost per month per square foot. As predictably, water is the most expensive component of that cost. However, this doesn't take into account the recycled water that we expect to be using, so the cost should be a good deal lower. So what are the economic incentives to our customers? Well, first of all, in addition to it being aesthetically pleasing, some greenery along otherwise bland freeways, we expect there to be huge economic savings in healthcare for the surrounding communities. So what does this mean? Well, since the plants are reducing exhaust and particulate matter, that means less occurrences of respiratory illnesses, less visits to our public hospitals, less of a cost to the surrounding city and state, less cost to the taxpayer, less sick days from work, increased productivity, et cetera, et cetera. So all these together combined amount to actually a lot of money. There was a paper by Ostro et al. That actually estimated that as much as $55 billion could be saved annually just by reducing particulate matter. And who would buy it? Well, cities and states and potentially private road builders.
So all the plants that we use in our Iboxy Green are highly capacity for sequestering particulate matter such as formaldehyde and xylene. For example, spider plants have two NAS-dependent formaldehyde hydrogenases that actually break down the formaldehyde and incorporate them into structures within the cell, such as the plant cell wall, cell membrane, such as that. Zamiococcus zamophilia does a similar breakdown of xylene through its CAM photosynthesis. Our number one competitor would be Furbish. They have an indoor biowall. They are primarily based to purify enclosed surfaces as opposed to us, which are more clearing up the environment and around. The main difference between them is they use soil as opposed to our aeroponics. Aeroponics is a less expensive alternative. It also makes the structure lighter for use. The two people that would regulate us would be the Federal Highway Administration. They'd be more concerned about our structure infecting the sound barrier's effectiveness, and the EPA, which would be regarded to the regulations of our safety and effectiveness. After several rounds of testing, we believe we would be able to pass.
In conclusion, there's a problem in America today: air pollution. Luckily, Obex Green's BioWall is the solution by removing harmful particulate matter from the air. Less overall air pollution equals a better quality of life. WallTech. Any questions? Yes.
So, have you guys calculated how much it would take to, like, how much maintenance cost it would take for the highways in, let's say, for California, like compared to, you know, the losses that you have from people, you know, coming in sick? Because I think $60 per month per square foot, 15 feet high, both sides.
The question is, would it be and correct me if I'm wrong here, would it be economically feasible? Would the health benefits actually offset the costs of maintaining this sort of wall? And at that point, it would depend upon the area in California they're speaking of. If it's a heavy urban center like, say, Los Angeles potentially, the answer would quite potentially be yes. I mean, I don't know if have you been to Los Angeles? It can get extremely polluted down there. Any sort of urban center has the potential to highly benefit from this wall, but it requires a roadway where you can put a sound barrier running through it, like Los Angeles.
You're really just gonna put it where there's only pollution.
It wouldn't necessarily be wise to put it out in the countryside just because there's not a high concentration of pollution there.